Roth is Professor of Religious Studies and the Director of the Contemplative Studies Initiative. Roth is a specialist in methods of textual criticism and textual history, classical Chinese religious thought, classical Daoism, the comparative study of mysticism, and one of the pioneers of the new interdisciplinary academic field of contemplative studies. During an academic career spanning over 3 decades, Roth has done groundbreaking work in 3 major intellectual fields. In the first, textual criticism, following the lead of the late SOAS Professor Paul Thompson, Roth did the first complete textual history of a major classical Chinese philosophical work, which he published in his first book, The Textual History of the Huainanzi. This is detailed in his very first publication, Filiation Analysis and the Textual Criticism of the Huainanzi. It is further developed as a model for all classical Chinese philosophical texts in a later publication, Text and Edition in Early Chinese Philosophical Literature. Intended as a comprehensive multi-authored text detailing all the fields of knowledge with which the Chinese emperor needed to be conversant, the Huainanzi contains chapters on cosmology and cosmogony, astronomy, geography, rulership, and warfare, to name a few of its major topics. Roth has argued that while the Huainanzi is inclusive of a very wide range philosophical ideas from many traditions, that its overarching intellectual context is provided by the inner cultivation tradition of classical Daoism. After working on the textual history of this major work in his first book, in the mid-1990s Roth developed a project for the first complete English translation with colleague John Major and, eventually, a small cohort of additional scholars that included, most importantly, Sarah Queen and Andrew Meyer. Together they succeeded in finally publishing a complete translation, The Huainanzi, A Guide to the Theory and Practice of Government in Early Han China, and an abridged translation, The Essential Huainanzi. Combining the disciplines of the relevant brain sciences, humanities, and creative arts around the systematic third and first-person study of contemplative experiences, across cultures and across time, this new field presents bold new pedagogies and research techniques that return the unbiased perspective of the experiencing subject to both classroom and laboratory. Inspired by the work of scientists such as Francisco Varela, James Austin, and Richard Davidson, philosophers such as William James and Evan Thompson, and educators such as John Dewey and Parker Palmer, Brown Contemplative Studies has served as a model for research institutes and academic programs at many institutions of higher education throughout North America. In 2014, Brown University became the first major North American research university to establish a formal undergraduate concentration, major, in contemplative studies. This pioneering multidisciplinary concentration requires 14 courses, including a core set of 5 required courses in relevant brain sciences and humanities. Students then choose a sciences track that features cognitive psychology and neuroscience, or a humanities track that features philosophy of mind and contemplative religious traditions. He served on the board of directors of the Society for the Study of Chinese Religions for a decade starting in 1993, during which time he has also served on the editorial boards of 4 international journals of Daoism and early Chinese studies. He has been a member of the initial steering committees for 2 groups within the American Academy of Religion, the Daoist Studies section and the Contemplative Studies group. He has been on the planning committees for the Mind and Life Institute Summer Research Institutes and the first and second International Symposia on Contemplative Studies, 2012 and 2014.